This is me sweeping my second out of 3 teams to help my squad win the Squad Scraps tournament. But how do we get there? So for the first match of the tournament, I start off by sitting guard, and immediately you'll see me look to start off with a leg entanglement. Now from here, my partner's doing a really good job at keeping his hips low so I can't elevate him. And right about here, I'm trying to go under, but he does a good job at controlling my head. So to fix that, I go back, but then shortly after I bait the triangle, go right back for the leg. Now that I've knocked him over, I have a much bigger bite, and you'll see me go for the toe hold right here. I'll put in the false reap, start rolling through until I can get the tap. So once again, in the second match, I'll pull guard, I'll look right for a leg entanglement. Now right here, you'll notice my partner dropping, and we'll be fighting for a while. But then I realize it's smarter to stand up. And once I get my opponent's mind off the legs, I'm going to look for that far foot, initiate a toe hold, but sit back and go high on the foot for an ankle lock. Tuck my elbow, get to the side, and get the tap. Now, with this third match, you're going to notice that my opponent is going to stall me a good amount here. He does this because he saw me attacking a lot on the previous opponent, so he doesn't want me to do the same thing to him. But I'll go for a leg entanglement right here, and instead of going for it completely, I go for the triangle. Now right here is a lot of adjusting and trying to figure out what to finish him with, but eventually I'll find a good spot for the punch choke, and once I smell blood, I'll keep going for it, and his face is turning red, so I know not to stop, and then eventually I'll get the tap. Now my next opponent is very skilled, and we both love the leg lock game, so it's really hard to get one on each other because we both know how to defend it really well. But to find a leg lock, I know I have to do something unorthodox, so right here I'm going to collar tie his head and sit up, but still go for that leg and sit right back down. And even though I can turn it in this rule set, I would rather turn out and get the tap. Now unfortunately I was not able to get videos of my other 2 teammates getting their hand raised, but in the second round, because I swept the first team, my other teammates had to go against the other team, with me being the anchor of the squad. First, my teammate Ryan, who you see now, he got the sub in his first match. Then in the second, he had a draw with a much bigger opponent and a good wrestler. Then later on, my other teammate Jack, he subbed his opponent, but he was dominating his next match and just got caught. Then Liam came in and finished the job off by subbing the last guy. Before we get on to the final round, let me tell you where I get this awesome rash guard set. X Marshall. X Marshall has some of the best quality no-gi sets, custom no-gi sets, streetwear, which includes hoodies, shirts, pants, sandals, bags, and much more. When checking out X Marshall, make sure you go to xmarshall.com, or you can use the link in my bio to save 15% off your next order. Now let's get to the final round. So in my first fight of the final round, I immediately sit guard and look to attack as quick as I can. Right here, my opponent is trying to keep his hips down so I can't leg entanglement, but I'm still going to go for it. Underhook to the leg. As soon as I swing my leg over, I know I can go for my toe hold, and immediately once I grab it, my opponent taps. For the second one, I immediately pull with my opponent. I stand up, right to a footlock, sit back, and I get the finish for a 7-second submission. With my next opponent, obviously you can tell I have a much bigger opponent than me. A lot of this right here is me trying to get him moving so he can't just settle on me. But right here, you'll notice I get a good grip on his thigh, which gets him moving, which allows me to go for something other than him just laying there. Right here, I'm inverting, getting under him. He's going to roll through and keep his legs crossed so I can't get an ankle lock of some sort. I try to go for the false reap. My opponent tries to muscle me down towards the mat, so I use my right arm to get under him and underhook, get a sweep. Right here, I immediately backstep, take the pass, get to a knee on belly, slide over the mount. Now, a lot of this right here is nothing much. Because there's no points in this tournament, it didn't really matter. Once again, I sit guard. My opponent leaves his arm a little too far out, so I pull it in, bring my leg over, and I finish a quick armbar. For the final match, my opponent I've gone against before, so he knows my game plan a little bit. He doesn't want me to go for the legs, so obviously I'm still going to attack him because that's where I like to be, but I don't find too much success off of it. Now right here's me going for some sort of an armbar, looking for the entanglement. I find a little bit of a bite, but I lose the grip short and get right back to my guard. Right here's me just trying to figure out what I can do to get my opponent moving, and eventually I go for the leg lock, but my opponent keeps his head really far down, so I see an attempt to take the back, so I climb right over. Right here is me trying to find his neck, and it takes a really long time, but eventually I'm able to get him exposed, take the neck, and slowly sink in the choke for the tap. And that's how I swept the second squad in the first ever Squad Scraps tournament. Thank you for watching.